So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I was super excited to get the invitation, not just because it was going to be a rare opportunity to see Marcus and Florian in suits, but also because Marcus, Florian, and the entire Zortify team have really been remarkable partners for us throughout the entire journey. We've been in existence for about 5 years. We've been working together for almost as long. And Zortify has really helped us make sense of what's working and what's not working for us. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and I'm also going to tell you a little bit about where we plan to go in the future, because I think we're just at the beginning of an exciting evolution of how we can help organizations transform from within. So talking about how we make this measurable, how do we make this journey of entrepreneurial capital and the development of this kind of intense resource from within measurable, the first thing that I want to just say, and I want to hold on that moment, because something that Miriam had brought up really is kind of the key of the situation that all of us are in right now. Okay, I know less about what's going on than I did yesterday. I know much less about what's going on than I did a year ago. And every single leader that we work with who's really honest with themselves is going to start from this position. They don't know, which is awesome. It is. It's an amazing thing, because do you know what that means if as leaders we don't know? We got to figure it out together. We know less and less of what's going on. There's a little photo of our community at an event here. Everyone's happy. But this is really the key energy. As leaders, we know less and less about what's really going on, and we need our teams more and more to figure it out. The people who've really been visionaries that we've been working with are the ones who really understood this early. They understood what this meant for their organizations. They understood that they couldn't lead in the same way that they were leading before. They couldn't just throw initiatives over to the teams and hope that they're going to figure it out. They couldn't tell people exactly what to do. They needed to enable their people to figure it out. So this is really the entire essence, the raison d'etre of what we do at Ada. We are here exclusively to help drive transformation from within. Right? That is what we do with our partners. We're here to help them enable their people to figure it out, to get more entrepreneurial capital, to turn that into projects, to turn that into momentum, to really move the organization forward. So we take a threefold approach to that, right? We have learning component because you got to learn things. We have a meeting component because it's essential that we're actually learning best practices from each other. But we really we also have this key piece of it, which is that people need to learn by doing. They have to get their hands dirty. They absolutely have to put their heads around, we've got a vision, but we don't know how to get there. We put them through a 3-month process where they get to actually prototype ideas that are user-centric, come up with ideas they pitch to their boards. But this entire process for us is like the engine of getting people to do the work, the difficult work that puts them in the unknown zone, for them to figure out what it means to move forward together. It is uncomfortable. It is difficult. It requires constant support. Now, working with Zortify, this was the essential thing for us, because we needed to know, first of all, is this working or not? Is what we're doing having an impact? And so from the very beginning, what Zortify was doing with us is they were helping us measure before and after entrepreneurial capital measurements. Right? So we would take all of the fellows that would go through this 1-year program with us. They would do the Zortify assessment. We call it transformational mindset measurement. But it was really this key piece of measuring the entrepreneurial capital. And then we would do an assessment at the end. Now, there were lots of results of this, but 2 that I wanted to highlight. 2 things that we were getting especially significant leverage over were the self-efficacy measurements and the resilience measurements. Okay, why were those so important? Those are so important for us because when we talk about transforming from within, people having the belief that they can do it because they've had their hands on something, they've been trying something out, combined with the resilience that they're going to be able to take the hits of actually what is involved Anybody who's here, I mean, every single hand in the room, who's actually seen a project through to completion, right? You're going to get beat. You're going to get pushed. You're going to get pushed down. You're going to fall over. You're going to make mistakes. Having the ability to stand back up, knowing that you can do it, increasing that capacity in your workforce is an essential driver of that transformation. It's absolutely critical to whether or not you're going to succeed. Because when we're talking about what our customers are actually doing, like these are just a handful of the projects from these customers just in the last couple of years, last year, sorry, that they've done in our program. You can see a trend here, right? AI is interesting to them. Okay, these projects that they initiated together with us and they're launching inside of their businesses, every single one of these is enabled because they know that they have more capacity than they did before. Not just understanding a technology, understanding how to apply it. Knowing that they have the confidence to drive a project forward in practical ways. They've had the resilience of most of these people. When we ask them what do they learn at the end, like in addition to saying, oh, I'm so excited now I actually know how to use these technologies, they always say things like, I know how to trust the process. I know that getting lost is part of the process. I know that that moment when we don't know what's happening, that's essential. Okay, because we get told a lot of fairy tales about how the technology is just going to wave a magic wand and make everything better. And as Miriam was saying, it's a human process. It's a human transformation. The transformation in people is not a straight linear curve. It is a winding journey. And so what we're able to do now, and this is the exciting thing that we're so excited about what we can do with Zortify, is, I know this is a bastardization, it's not the right use of this curve, but for mental purposes, I'm going to use it here. If we talk about this, like this curve of technological adaptation, if we're talking about making transformation happen from within with companies, we cannot just be targeting the people over here. That will work. That will widen this gap. We have to be drawing from here because promise you, and you know it already, right? The pragmatists, the conservatives, the skeptics, they are needed in the process. We need them in the process. But you also know we can't just take everybody along. Not everybody is ready to start at an equal point. So how do we target the right people to join these kinds of projects? Right? This is where Zortify is going to help us sort them. Because we can actually do something that most of these organizations can't do for themselves, which is we are going to be able to sort out the people who are ready to get in and chart the process, to try it out. They can't do that themselves because the Betriebsrat doesn't allow them to sort a lot of times. But if they're applying to a program like ours and they're willingly buying into it, that can be part of how we onboard them. This is part of how we do the actual selection process for all the number of people who apply. We get a bank like Hypo Vereinsbank that has 130 people apply for a program with 30 seats in the first running of it. I want to sort them. Distributed across the different mindset, distributed across the different skills. That's what Zortify is allowing us to do, and this is really where we're excited to go next. Because transformation within is not going to happen if we're just shooting it randomly. It's not going to happen if we treat everybody the same. We have to be able to target those changes, because that's how we start to build momentum and really get things moving. Thank you very much, and hope we talk more as the day goes through.